Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
807 WMAL. Brian Wilson in the house. Larry O'Connor back on Monday, filling in today. Tori Clark. Always good to have our friend Tori
Great
Clark
to be here.
On the line, we have Senator Jim DeMint, Republican from South Carolina. And boy, Senator, we got a lot of things to talk to you about, but I guess get this one little matter cleared up. We can do this in short order. I won't belay the issue, but there's a story out there from the McClatchy newspapers that said you left open the possibility that you might pursue a run for the presidency. But when I got into the story and read it, it seemed like everything that you said was that you weren't interested. So are you interested or not?
No, I'm not. And I was laughing with the reporter because he asked me a question I was asked a couple of years ago, and they said, "Are you going to rule this out?" And I said, "It's hard to rule out anything in life." And I said, last time I said I wasn't going to do that, they announced I was running for president. Oh, so it's just silliness at this point, 4 years out. We've got a lot of work to do in the Senate. I'm not thinking about running for president anytime soon.
All right.
Okay, in Washington speak, you didn't rule it out. So I think the next headline is Senator DeMint does not rule out presidential bid.
Well, I don't know if anybody could rule out something 4 years from now, but
it's not your intention, right?
No, it's not my plan or intention, gosh, I hadn't even thought that far ahead.
All right, we're moving on.
We'll leave it at that. Okay, now look, we got this cliff. It's called the Fiscal Cliff, and many people think that we're going to drive over the edge, and that would be a very bad thing. Are we going to be able to avert it without raising taxes on the wealthy?
Well, the government doesn't need any more money. The country needs less government. Well, we're really near record highs, historic highs of tax revenues coming in. We're close to pre-recession levels right now, and we've doubled spending in the last 10 years. So we've got a spending problem, and that's where we need to focus. And Republicans in the House have already passed a bill to avert this problem. It was ignored by the Senate, but we need to continue the current tax rates until we can come together on a real reform of our tax code. And we need to cut spending, but it shouldn't be so heavily weighted on the military. And the House passed a version that would cut some spending in a reasonable way and restore a lot of the military spending. That's what we need to do in the short term to make sure that the country doesn't hit this bump. I think it's a mistake to call it a cliff, and in fact, I know as a businessman, a lot of the damage that has been done by this uncertainty, it's already been done. Businesses have made their plans to curtail hiring because of tax rates and the implementation of Obamacare, and a lot of defense contractors have laid people off because the procurement for these new weapons and things have slowed down because of the threat of this. So we can't fix this problem by just doing something on Christmas Eve, but it does point out that there are a lot of things that we need to do to give the country some certainty and stability to move forward. But we've got plans as Republicans. We're ready and willing to work with the president. But the really absurd thing is our president, the leader here, we've known this for a year, has no plan at all. He keeps throwing out tax the rich. But what he's talking about will run the country for a few days. It does not approach solving the $1 trillion a year deficit.
Exactly.
And so to fall for that as a plan, I don't think John Boehner for 1 minute should go into closed doors, secret negotiations with the president. Everybody who's ever negotiated anything knows you don't negotiate with someone who doesn't have a position. And so Republicans have put out numerous plans over many years of how to fix Social Security, Medicare, the tax code. Democrats have not put out one. Yet all I hear in the media is that the Republicans need to step forward and show their plan. Republicans aren't in charge. They can't pass anything. There has not been one plan to solve this problem from Obama or the Democrats. They need to show us a plan.
So, Senator, the other big story we've been hearing a lot about is Susan Rice. Up on the Hill, trying to make nice with a lot of senators because it seems likely the president wants to put her forward as his nominee for Secretary of State. What are you hearing about that? And if you were a betting man, would you bet that he actually goes forward with that nomination?
Susan Rice was part of a pretty broad deception of the American people in Congress about the Benghazi incident. We've gotten pretty much to the bottom. We know that the White House, the State Department, the CIA, they all knew while the attack was happening that this was an Al-Qaeda-inspired terrorist attack. They knew it. And to be arguing about who changed the talking points and is ridiculous. She was part of a deception. There's no question about it. And it's very naive to think she knew differently. And so I don't think she's going to be able to pass muster with even our most forgiving Republicans. A few of them may surprise me. And I don't know if the president's going to move ahead with the nomination. He may just to create controversy and say Republicans are racist or whatever they want to call us. But this has nothing to do with anything except an ambassador of the UN who misled the American people in what appeared to be a very willful way.
So that I read that to mean that you would not be in favor of her if she were to be nominated. But here's the question. Can she be confirmed in the Senate where Democrats outnumber Republicans?
It is very possible. So they just need 5 Republicans to join them, and so I think it's very possible she could be confirmed. The question after that is, would she have the confidence of the American people and our allies as she deals with our international affairs? And so the question to me is would she really be good for our country, and I don't think so.
Senator, something that's not getting talked about but probably should be is Obamacare. It's been passed. It's the law of the land. It supposedly should be getting implemented out at the state level. But you've been seeing and hearing things at the state level that I think those of us in Washington just aren't aware of.
Yeah, what we're seeing is a number of states are saying they're not going to implement these exchanges. And what the exchanges are is the only way people can get this new government-sponsored insurance. And they're also saying they're not going to expand their Medicaid rolls to put these people on, because basically the insurance they're offering is Medicaid. And so you're going to see states that don't have the ability to implement it, and the law says if the states don't do it, the federal government will. But the federal government hasn't set up anything, and probably would take years for them to do it. So the best way for us to save some money and save a whole lot of jobs right now is for the president to come forward and say, let's delay this thing. Work through it instead of just piling one page of regulation after another. We've already got 13,000 pages of regulation, and it's growing every day. And states can't figure out what it means and what they're supposed to do, so a lot of them are balking at doing anything.
All right. Well, Senator Jim DeMint, Republican from South Carolina, really a pleasure to have you on the show. Please come again.
Thank you, Brian, Tori. Good to be with you.
Thank you.